Somnath Temple stands on the western edge of India where the land meets the Arabian Sea. Waves crash endlessly against the shore as they have for thousands of years. Today it looks peaceful, majestic, timeless, but behind this calm exterior lies one of the most turbulent stories in Indian history. Somnath was not destroyed once. It was not destroyed twice. Across centuries, it was attacked, damaged, and torn down again and yet it always returned. This is not just a story about a temple. It is a story about memory, identity, and the refusal of a civilization to forget who it is. Somnath is one of the 12 Jyotirlingas of Lord Shiva. In Hindu belief, Jyotirlingas are not ordinary shrines. They represent Shiva in his most powerful cosmic form. For devotees, visiting Somnath was not just a pilgrimage, it was a spiritual milestone. Ancient texts mention Somnath as a place of immense sanctity, but also of prosperity. Kings donated land, gold, and jewels to the temple. Merchants funded its upkeep. Scholars and priests lived and taught around it. Over time, Somnath became more than a religious site. It became a symbol of wealth, faith, and cultural continuity. And symbols attract attention. To understand Somnath's repeated destruction, we must understand something important about the ancient world. Temples were not just places of worship, they were economic centers, archives of knowledge, symbols of royal power, repositories of art and culture. When a temple fell, it sent a psychological message. This civilization can be broken. Destroying a temple was never only about money or idols, it was about dominance. Somnath, standing tall on the coast, visible to traders and travelers, became a powerful target. In the early 11th century, Mahmud of Ghazni launched multiple invasions into the Indian subcontinent. One of the most famous and most debated was his attack on Somnath. Historical records describe how the temple was damaged and looted. The idol was broken. Vast wealth was taken back to Ghazni. For many, this moment became symbolic, not just of loss, but of humiliation. But what happened next is often ignored. Somnath was rebuilt, not decades later, not centuries later, but within the same civilizational memory. The people who rebuilt it were making a statement. You may destroy the structure, but you will not destroy the meaning. Over the next several centuries, Somnath faced repeated attacks under different rulers and dynasties. Each attack followed a familiar pattern: damage to the temple, removal of wealth, decline into ruins, and then rebuilding. Local kings funded reconstruction, merchants donated money, devotees returned, stone was carved again, rituals resumed, life returned. This cycle of destruction and renewal turned Somnath into something rare, a living symbol of resilience. It wasn't just about religion anymore, it was about continuity. By the time the British consolidated power in India, Somnath once again lay in ruins. Colonial historians often describe such temples as remnants of a lost civilization, relics with no future. But among Indians, Somnath still lived in memory. Stories were told, legends passed down. The idea of Somnath survived, even when the stones did not. It waited for a moment when rebuilding was possible again. After India gained independence, the question arose, should Somnath be rebuilt once more? Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel believed it should. For him, rebuilding Somnath was not about religion alone, it was about restoring historical confidence. Despite opposition and hesitation, reconstruction began. In 1951, the modern Somnath Temple was inaugurated. It was not an attempt to recreate the past exactly as it was. It was a declaration that the past still mattered. Somnath does not tell us that destruction never happens. It tells us something more important, that destruction is not the end. Civilizations survive not because they are never attacked, but because they remember, rebuild, and continue. Stone can fall, walls can crumble, but when belief, memory, and identity remain, something always rises again. Today, Somnath stands by the sea once more, not as a silent ruin, not as a forgotten legend, but as a reminder that faith can be challenged, culture can be attacked, but what is deeply remembered is never truly destroyed. This is not just a temple, this is Somnath, what is often overlooked is the way Somnath influences regional culture, not only through its existence, but through its stories. Indeed, there are numerous folk tales and local music traditions that keep the spirit of the temple alive. These stories have been vital in passing beliefs from generation to generation. Somnath is not just a monument, it's a living narrative. Let me tell you the story of the stonemason who worked tirelessly, carving the intricate designs of Somnath. Each day he whispered prayers into the stones, hoping that his spirit would live on through his work. Did he know the temple would be destroyed so many times? Ah, perhaps he did. But his belief was not in the stones themselves, but in what they stood for. Even when they fell, his spirit had already taken root in the hearts of the people. We sing of Somnath, not just of the past, but of the future it promises. In every festival, every song, the temple lives again, and with every celebration, we honor those who came before us. Their legacy is our strength. And so, the story of Somnath becomes a universal tale. It reminds us that while the waves may erode the shore, they also reshape it, making room for new stories to be written. In every corner of the world, there is a Somnath waiting for its story to be told, its legacy to rise anew. If you want more deep, untold stories of history and civilization, subscribe to Echoes of Stories. Some stories deserve time, some stories deserve memory.